Hi everyone and welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. Now for this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this delightful 3D teddy bear cake complete with realistic woolly hat. All of the head, the body and the legs are cake, and I've used Rice Krispie treats in order to support the hat. However, this is the equivalent to at least a two-tiered cake just with the amount of cake used. As always, I guide you through everything in a simple step-by-step format. There is no cake carving required in this or no fancy moulds. I've used basic shape caked tins just to help me get the shape of the teddy bear to decorate it with ease. Happy baking, guys. I do hope you're all keeping safe and well, and I think we should make a start. Here I have a 12-inch round piece of plywood and a 12-inch round cake board, but I've cut a hole into it. Now here I am using a shop bore internal support that's available worldwide and is by Innovative Sugarworks. So just here I am holding the base, which is also attached to a 5-inch length rod. You'll notice I've got two of them on here. So let's just go through the pieces, but it will be in detail below the video. So you need your base and you need two 5-inch rods. This is called a coupler, again all by Innovative Sugarworks. I have a 30-degree elbow joint and one 3-inch rod. I'm going to leave a list of these below this video. They are shipped worldwide and some of them are available from Vanilla Valley in the UK. So this is how easy they are to use. Here I have the base by Innovative Sugarworks. I have already screwed the 5-inch length rod directly onto the base. You then want to screw on the coupler, another 5-inch length rod, a 30-degree elbow joint, and finally the 3-inch length rod. It really is as easy as that. All food safe, it's done really fast, and I can't recommend Innovative Sugarworks highly enough. You then want to apply some very strong glue to the back of your cake board and simply place this directly onto the plywood that has already been cut to size. I am using Gorilla Glue and I weight this down with a lot of icing sugar and other baking products. Now either screw or drill your support structure directly into the wooden base. I then choose to add some foil directly to the base where the cake will be, just because the hole I drilled was slightly large. In order to construct the cake, start by baking two 6-inch round 4-inch deep cakes and simply place one of the spare rods directly through the centre. This is so where we know we are placing it onto the cake. Simply add this to your support using some homemade buttercream. I will add a link to the recipe for this in the description below this video, using that hole as a guide just so that you can guide it all the way down your support and it will be exactly central. You can add as much filling as you want to. I just chose to add a small amount of buttercream for the purpose of this tutorial. Once the body of the bear is in place, take a sharp knife and just trim off some of the excess cake just around the rim of the top 6-inch cake, just to give the bear more of a smooth body. For the teddy bear's head, you will need two 6-inch half bowl cakes. And for one of them, we need to make it so that it can fit on a 4-inch round circle. Now, I'm going to be using cake frame for this, so I don't have to drill a hole. But like you would with most tiered cakes, simply place this on a cake card, but the cake card will need to have a hole in it. So when you're trimming the base of this actual sphere, you need it so it's around 4 inches big. With the other half ball cake, we simply just want to place a hole in the centre. Don't cut any off this one. Now it's time to apply it to the cake. So as mentioned, I'm using a piece of cake frame. I don't actually have any cake boards the correct size in the house. So for a cake board, you would just drill the hole directly into the centre. I place this over the frame first, leave a mark behind, and then I dowel the cake just like you would a two-tiered cake. Instead of having the board though actually underneath the head part of the cake whilst I'm making it, I then apply the board directly to this. We then simply add some buttercream and just repeat the process that we did for the body but with the head. I'm now going to speed this section up so that you can understand and see everything that is actually done. Finally, taking a sharp knife, simply trim at an angle where the 30-degree elbow joint is so that you know where you're going to be placing your hat. Crumb coat the cake that you have just added and then simply add the feet. For the feet, I have used two 4-inch round cakes and simply place them directly onto the front of the teddy bear using some buttercream. These are then also crumb coated. To make the hat, I'm using Rice Krispie treats. So I have 200 grams of Rice Krispies, 400 grams of homemade marshmallows, and in a pan some butter. We're going to start by melting those marshmallows down over a very low heat. Once your marshmallows have melted, simply add the Rice Krispies a little bit at a time and stir in really well until everything's all incorporated. Add your Rice Krispie treat mixture to a 6-inch bolt-tin and two 4-inch bolt-tins. You can only see one on camera. And again, with the 6-inch, just repeat that process of placing a hole in the centre. All you want to do now is start by adding the 6-inch Rice Krispie treat to the cake first, and then we're going to add both of the 4-inch spheres of Rice Krispie treats. Use your hands to manipulate the shape. These Rice Krispie treats have cooled down slightly, but not completely. You don't want them completely cold, otherwise they will be unworkable, and if they are too hot, you will find it very difficult to work with. I'm going to speed this up, but the next process, once you have got the shape you desire, is to simply crumb coat all of the Rice Krispie treat hat. Here you can just see how I covered the cake drum. So I just rolled out some small pieces of fondant in between 5mm spaces. And I actually did it in patches. It doesn't matter if you get a bit of buttercream on your fondant because it can just be kneaded back into it. And then just try and smooth the patches up as much as you can just around the outside. For the realistic woolly hats, you will need the rib and cable knit mould by Marvellous Moulds, some red fondant or gum paste, and some icing sugar. Here I have rolled out a 5mm thick piece of fondant, the same size of the mould, and I have simply sprinkled some icing sugar directly into the mould. Place the fondant in there, push it down, use your rolling pin to pick up all of that beautiful detail, and then I place this in the fridge for 10 minutes. Due to placing this in the fridge, it will come away with ease and will not lose its shape. All you do now is take each panel and gently add it to the buttercreamed hat. Now my buttercream's quite hard here because I've literally just taken this out of the fridge. If you do struggle to stick it to the hard buttercream, maybe add a little bit of water and simply repeat this process with the other panels. You will have to cut segments away so that they meet correctly, but because of the sort of pattern that you have and because of the things you can add to it, you just end up with a beautiful, realistic looking woolly hat. So you get the idea now. Just to cover up the seams, I've added like a rope effect. You just do these with sausage shapes with fondant. And then to cover up the gap on the top of the hat, again, I've created another panel, but this time I have actually cut out a circle shape. And I found it best to cut the circle shape out on top of the cake first and then place it and squeeze it into all of those gaps. Okay, so for the white bobble on the end of the hat, I simply add a cocktail stick for support. Hold it with my hand because I have added a small amount of cooled down boiled water. And then just taking some very small scissors. This is a great technique. If you cut directly into the fondant, you will end up with that beautiful fur-like effect. For the rim, I am using the ribbed border mould by Marvellous Molds, and I'm just going to repeat the process that I did with the panelling for the initial hat. So again, it's just a case of making sure you have added plenty of icing sugar. You place your fondant directly in there, push it all down, use a rolling pin to bring out that detail, and then place it in the fridge for about 10 minutes. And then simply add these one by one to the hat. These are a lot easier to cut down and they meet absolutely beautifully. If you want to add a few buttons like I do and you have a mould to do it, then feel free. Now we need to make the fondant accents for the bear. Start by rolling out a thin piece of grey fondant and cut out 2 3-inch or 3.5-inch circles. For the bear's mouth, take a small amount of grey fondant and shape this by hand into more of a love heart kind of shape. You can then use a cocktail stick in order to create both the mouth and the line that goes down from the nose to the smiley face. You're only going to need one ear as the hat is on the other side, so for this you want a relatively thick piece of fondant and quite a small circle cutter. Cut out a circle and then just trim off the base. And finally, for the bear's arms, you want 2 large pieces of fondant. Roll this into a cone shape. And then I like to place it so part where the hand is going to be, it's on my surface just to smooth it out slightly. Simply repeat this for your other ball of fondant. And these are the fondant accents that you need to have ready before we pipe. Simply add the fondant accents directly to your cake, so the arms, the feet and the mouth and the ear. Directly to the buttercream. For the mouth, hold it in place with cocktail sticks just until it's dried. And also add a small blue heart-shaped nose, which you can shape using your hands, directly on them. Final part, adding the fur. So here I have a large glass nozzle. This one is the Gem 234 piping nozzle, widely available on Amazon, and I will leave a link to that for you below this video. I'm using disposable piping bags because you will need quite a few. I simply trim off the end, add the piping nozzle, then just a little tip for you. If you place this into a pint glass, it's a lot easier and less messy when it comes to adding the actual buttercream. All we need to do now is literally pipe on that buttercream fur. So I have a recipe for this buttercream in the description below this video. I have turned the buttercream grey, and then you simply just want to squeeze the piping bag very gently, and whilst you are squeezing, gently pull away at the same time. Your buttercream cannot be too cold. This will make it very difficult to pipe, and it also can't be too warm because it will all go very sloppy. So do follow the recipe, but just take in consideration the temperature of the room that you are working in. I'm going to speed up all of this so you can see the teddy bear cake slowly come together. So you get the idea, an awful lot of piping, but very well worth it. If I just give them a little spin round for you, because I've done all of the back off camera so I didn't bore you to death. There's just one little thing we need to add now, and those are the eyes. Now for the eyes, very, very easy to do. Just 2 small balls of black fondant, and that is your beautiful Christmas Me to You bear complete. Happy baking, guys. I really do hope I've helped you again today. Merry Christmas, and I will be back soon with an awful lot more new, completely free content.